Dude, I'm just going to warn you now, mate. I love talking to you, mate, and I genuinely, real talk. I really enjoy this for its own benefit, but I'm just because of the couple of days I've had, mate. I'm going to need to find my energy.
Yeah, that's
seriously going to need to find some energy for this.
Mate, you want to pop a Pro Plus, down it with some Lucozade.
Oh God, can you imagine? You'd never stop.
Go to the toilet and slap your face a bit. Come on.
Isn't that like a Pro Plus and a Lucozade? Isn't that how the Buddhists first achieved nirvana?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure that tips you over the scale.
That's what you do as a kid to, play TIG for a long time.
What, doping on TIG in the playground?
Banned for doping. Imagine.
Oh my God. Dude, TIG. What a classic.
What a game.
What a game. That's a game for real men. Real men play TIG.
Oh dear.
Oh my Christ.
Interesting things said by uninteresting people. You're hosted by Ben and Tom. Interesting things said by uninteresting people.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Things Said by Uninteresting People, a show where we talk about interesting things so that you don't have to. My name's Ben, and as always, I am joined by the far more COVID secure half of the podcast, Tom.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. COVID secure, as you said. Did my lat flow.
My lat flow. Is that how the kids are referring to them now?
That's what they say in the streets. Did my lat flow this morning, and I'm all clear. But yeah, man, I'm good. How are you?
I've been better, honestly. I've been better. I know we talked about this offline, but
I've got to pretend like I don't know. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Oh, man. Oh, I've got the sword of Damocles hanging over my head with a COVID PCR test from this morning.
Oh,
because, I mean, long story short, the guy that I work with has tested positive. And I work in a van with him. So I'll be interested. I feel fine. But obviously doing the responsible thing and getting checked out.
You look riddled with it.
Thanks.
I know it's a webcam, but you look riddled.
It's just the stress.
Yeah, I can see it.
I've got the vacant filter on the old Zoom cam. But that's also why we're doing this remotely, I guess, too.
It is. We are doing it remotely today.
So that's why the sound isolation is infinitely better.
Yeah, that's why you can't catch COVID through a microphone. But we're putting that to the test today.
Yeah, man, it's not like that electric virus from Red Dwarf. Do you ever see that?
Yeah. I've seen way too much Red Dwarf.
Where Rimmer goes nuts and starts wearing the gingham dress with Mr. Flibble. Yeah.
Mr. Flibble didn't like that.
I'm not far from feeling like that, to be honest, because it's just from the stress of the last couple of days.
You should draw a little H on your head.
Yeah, probably. Next time you see me, I will, mate. I will. But yeah, dude, it's crazy, isn't it? Because, I mean, not to dive into COVID talk, but with Kevin is the guy's name that I work with. His daughter tested positive on a lateral flow at school. This is where all this started. So that's why he got PCR tested. But then her PCR test came back negative. So did his wife's. But his is positive. So it's like, well, what's going on? Is it just a coincidence? And he happened to have it? Yeah, he's absorbed it from her, yeah.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, yeah. So he's obviously got it from either somewhere else.
Yeah. Maybe he's got it from me, and it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe you've got it.
I mean,
You're
prepared
the source.
to believe. Oh, Jesus, man.
You're patient zero, you are.
Oh, Christ. The thing is, the trouble is that you get all the placebo symptoms.
Yeah.
So it's like, dead. Oh, I need to make sure I'm okay. And immediately you think, that throat is a bit scratchy,
yeah. I do feel hot, yeah.
I do feel warm, yeah.
You're right, I can't concentrate on anything today.
That's just me, dude. I mean, that's the millennial curse, isn't it? I woke up this morning feeling like I didn't want to get out of bed and like I didn't really have much energy for any social interactions.
Yes, welcome to life.
So the shitty thing is, so I say shitty, it is there for a reason. Even if I'm negative, at the moment I am fully vaccinated, Mm-hmm. So I got the message come through because he listed me as a contact saying, hey, you need to fill out this form because you are listed as a contact. I filled out the form and it said, you don't need to self-isolate because you've had your vaccine, you're fine. You can just go about your business.
Yeah.
The trouble is I can't work. and neither can he. I mean, the point is obviously he can't either, and I'm not working without him. So, I mean, even if I come back negative, I'm kind of just in my own little mini lockdown for no, I say for no reason, but for
the reason's there, but it's a slim one.
It's a very slim one, yeah. So mate, I'm back in the well of, I did some grouting today.
Mate, the old lockdown tasks are coming back out.
It's amazing how quickly you slip back into that like attitude. Go, right, well, that job's needed doing for a few days. That needs doing. I'm thinking of buying 2 tons of gravel, mate.
Oh my God.
I had a friend send me a gravel catalogue the other day. Literally, I'm not even joking. I don't know what's happened to my life. And
what was the gravel catalogue called?
I can't remember. It's like a supply. It's a supplier's catalogue. I said because I had to text him and say he works for a builder's merchant, and he is just to give him a little bit of an anonymous shout out. This mate, if he knows who he is an absolute legend with hooking me up with building materials. Yeah. But I sent him a text on a couple of nights ago saying, mate, random question, but I need to choose what gravel to put on my drive. Is there any like catalogue? Within about half an hour, I had a PDF of a fully fledged gravel catalogue in my inbox. So I was like, oh mate. That's wasn't expecting something like that.
The Graveler's Bible. Gravel Times.
Gravel Times. Oh,
Gravel
man.
Weekly.
Yeah. So that's my life for the next few days.
Mate, in a way, I feel a bit jealous because I never had like the lockdown experience everyone else did. Like I was working for the whole thing, so nothing changed for me. So it's like, I just work, but now I am working from home. So I was never furloughed, never had all this time. And everyone's like, I started in lockdown. I'm like, you had time off in lockdown, you lucky bastard.
I guess everyone had kind of a different experience though, wasn't it? Because there's other people who were, maybe in America more so, but in this country as well, people who literally have not worked for almost pushing a couple of years. Maybe a year and a half, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I say, I'm not envious in the fact that I want time off from work, but envious because a lot of people had time to start something totally new. I guess I did leave teaching in COVID, so I did change my life up considerably. But it's a funny one. Whenever people say, "Oh, it's a lockdown thing," I'm like, "What's that?"
What's that? Yeah, dude. But I mean, I don't know. I wonder if. I think everyone who went down through lockdown of any kind, I think you come out different anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
At least a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's got to affect you. I was speaking to my dad earlier about how you kind of turn off or you forget the things you used to do when you were able to. You talk about making the real conscious decision to say, right, I want to go out and do this, or I want to go out and have a coffee, or go out and have a meal, or do anything.
Definitely, mate. I think the thing that's been affected most is just people coming over. It's because that you were like, of course, come over. But now, because everyone's mind's like, you shouldn't do that, even though you can now, at least you can here in the UK. It's still not, that still hasn't come back round.
It feels taboo, doesn't it?
Yeah, me and Kelly were saying the other day, we haven't had people over in months, like literally months. And we can.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm well aware. Yeah. It's funny though. It's funny because now, of course, for the last 6 months, my phone's been reminding me of things that happened a year ago. Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, did that really happen a year ago?
I can't believe how quick it went.
Yeah, sure.
It was really quick.
But dude, I have this weird theory that it's not. Because you know how sometimes time is weird and sometimes things feel further away than they were. Sometimes they feel really close. They feel like they're last, at times wibbly wobbly and it stretches and all the rest of it. I feel like through lockdown, time sort of just overlapped. Like everything happened at the same time. In my mind, the way my mind sorted it now is that, everything, every day of that lockdown took place at the same time. Yeah. Nothing felt long way away. Nothing felt more recent.
Mate, and I think this kind of goes back. We're talking off podcast just about old bands and listening to music again, like that you guys used to make, and like that's something I like and dislike about making music, especially is there's such a timestamp on it that it's hard to not feel sad you're not in that time, but also like it makes you like what happened to that. I don't know if you get the same, but it's like. When I was listening to, your album from 2008, and it's like, I was listening to that mainly when I was living at home with my mum, in the old house before we moved to the newer house. And it's like, wow, what a weird little time capsule. And sometimes putting such a stamp on a date on something makes me feel like queasy about how quick time is going. It's like, I don't know if you used to get it at school. You used to pick up an old maths book or something and you'd see like 2004 in it and you're in 2007. It's like, wow, that went quick.
Yeah.
How have I not filled this book up by now? Or like, just dating things in general, like, I don't know, gives me the heebie-jeebies sometimes.
No, dude, it does, mate. No, you're right, man. I don't know if this is interesting for anyone to listen, but you're 100% right. Sorry, that wasn't a dig. I'm thinking about what I'm about to say. I'm not sure if this is going to be interesting for anyone. But it is, man. And you're right about that kind of queasy feeling. I've never put it into words, but you're 100% right. It's that kind of that uneasy sort of gut clench a little bit where you think, man, like, how do we get from there to here?
Yeah, and it's like how, like I say, it's just such a timestamp because when you, especially with music, because when you listen back to what you made then, it's like, we're saying off podcast, but it's like a certain smell or a certain feeling just comes straight back. And it's like, wow, I used to think about that all the time. And now I never, ever think about it.
Well, and it's relationships. It's relationships with people and with yourself as well. Like, I mean, even if, it could be someone that you recorded with that you haven't seen since, or it's been years since you've spoken to them, like the relationship's changed. It could be that it's someone that you still see, but it's like mourning the relationship that you used to have when you were younger, naturally, that you just used to be two college kids, who cared about completely different things. But maybe it's like mourning who you were.
Yeah,
you think because you recognize, like, I was a different person who did that. I was a different person who recorded that, who wrote that, or who thought those things, or what have you.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because I as much as I think that, I don't ever think I wish I could go back.
No,
I don't have that feeling. I just have the feeling that it's kind of sad that that's over. But I wouldn't. If someone said, "Do you want to go back and do that again?" I'd be like, "Oh no," because I wouldn't do that now. It's
like recognizing the doors that have shut in a perfectly normal way, like not any major opportunities missed, but just I've shut the door on that part of my life now.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy to think of.
The thing that made me think about that mainly was I listened back to the two Child singles we put out, and they're 2017. So that's like it's like almost going to push 5 years ago soon. It's like, buddy, it didn't feel like that long ago, but it was.
Yeah, sure. Man, that is crazy. But do you feel grateful? Pardon me, that you have. Sorry, I just burped in the middle of a sentence there. Do you feel grateful that you have that kind of time capsule in a way that someone else might not? Who hasn't made things like that?
Yeah, in a way, definitely, because it is a nice reminder. If I'm like if I get to the ripe old age of 90, which you never know, especially as being a man, it's quite rare to reach that age nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely,
as we do.
Yeah,
but if I could listen back to it, then I think I'd be like fill you with such joy in a way.
Yeah,
I think because I'm too close to it now to be like, emotional about it.
It's not that. Really. Yeah, sure, I get it. Yeah.
But no, I like I say, I'm glad I managed to get it off Jared. If Jared is listening, which I think he does sometimes, thank you for sending me the old demos and stuff. I was explaining to Ben that Jared's a bit of a time capsule for any local music. If you want it, he's got it. Put your request in. He's got it all on that massive music hard drive of his.
See, there is something satisfying about that now, isn't there?
I mean, you guarantee
he'll look at a vault.
Guarantee he'll have the album artwork for all of it too.
Yeah,
attached,
sure.
Ready to go.
Oh man, we should set him up a little website business, dude. I was flicking back through. I was clearing out some books, and I found I own the 5th edition of the Great Rock Discography. Right. This is. I didn't.
We're not talking about gravel, are we?
No, not gravel this time. Good. No. Mate, dude. You know what? This episode is setting me up to look like a real dweeb. Like this is all I own. This is all I own is like fish posters and gravel catalogues.
Yeah.
No, dude. It's because I've had it sat on the bookcase for a long time. Yeah. Never really looked through it. It was one of these things that I bought. I think it came out in '99. I want to say.
Yeah.
So the oldest I would be 15 when this came out. So I was in college. I thought it was just a cool thing to spend my money on, and I would idly flick through it. I have a newfound appreciation for it now, opening it up, right? For a couple of different reasons. The first one is that I recognise a lot more of the acts now, because some of them are so alternative and so obscure as well. Like so very, very niche, some of them. But the other thing is, this was pre-Wikipedia.
Right.
But every entry for every band is so full and knowledgeable of that band's history. Like, it's even down to the catalogue numbers of every release for them, UK and US. But it's not even, but the thing is, it's written by one guy.
Yeah.
And the entries aren't boring and robotic. They aren't like a kind of vanilla, they formed at this time, they went, they did this, they released. He's got some kind of like opinion in there. They are like, they've got like his take on what happened. The unusual choice to rejoin with guitarist after he got off and done this.
The opinion being thrown in.
Yeah, he's got, but dude, this book, I'm going to try and describe it. It's A4 size, and it is maybe 4 inches, 5 inches thick. Sure. It's a big book, man. It's full up.
Is it like the cross-section book? Do you remember those when you were a kid?
No. What's that?
Do you know? Oh, right. It's something we used to have a lot. We used to have them at school. It was like, I can't believe I'm explaining this on a podcast. The cross-section book. So it would be like the cross-section of like really big infrastructure, like a train. It would like cut it in half. That's what the picture would be. And it would label all the bits. And then it would tell you all about the bits, which... Me and my brother always laugh at this, because when we were younger, Matt would get like cross-section books and big book of knowledge books, and I would get like Thomas the Tank and like a story, like
more your speed,
some sort of story thing, like 10 creepy stories for children or something.
Sure,
something like that. Matt would always get like these really like, He's the smart one.
Oh,
and give Tom the stupid one.
We're putting all our eggs in the Matt basket.
Yeah, literally. We still laugh about it now. Like whenever we're at Mum's house and she's got like some sort of book, I'm like, I don't know if I'd understand this. Matt, what do you think? It looks a bit complicated. I only get the ones with pictures in.
Oh God,
which is funny.
These books from pre-Wikipedia days, they probably wouldn't even get written nowadays.
No.
It's a one-page pamphlet saying, look online, go to this website.com.
It's just,
Oh, geez.
That's so true.
Mate, we haven't even started talking about anything that we're going to talk about today.
That's okay.
This is such a bad episode. What is it? Episode 51, which is 17 times 3. Just so you know.
I thought you were going to follow that up, but that was just a straight-up fact.
I have a little reason for knowing why that knowledge is so at the front of my mind, which I'm going to leave hanging.
I had nothing to give you then, Ben, when you said that.
That's fine.
Not a penny.
Not of some maths chat, not of some factorisation chat,
guys.
Factor finding. No. Tom, have you got Tom's Rec?
Yeah, I'll do it because it is interesting, and it's quite geeky, and it's very...
Okay, come on, man, because people are fed up with the bullshit, this fucking horse shit. So let's get to the real meat of it. This better be good, Tom. I don't want to set you up too much, but this better be 100% podcast gold. Ready? Go.
Okay. Let me just find the name before
come on.
I found it already. There's a Twitter account. I like following new Twitter accounts. I've been following this for a while. I just realised I hadn't recommended it. It's called, it's going to sound so boring. Sorry, Randy. You might find this interesting though, Ben. It's called Internal Tech Emails. And it's just at Tech Emails. And basically what it is leaked or, things that have come up in court. Like, Apple and Epic are at ends at the moment. But they just tweet out emails from really high up tech executives. So there's like people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and there's just their emails. And there's one which I found really interesting was Google deciding whether to buy YouTube or not. And it's just an email thread. And they're like, yeah, it looks cool. There's lots of problems with it. But they're really they're classic emails. So they're quite slapdash because they're internal. So there's no kind regards or anything. It's just like, Jeff, what do you think? Might not be worth it. Yahoo have been eyeing them up. Not sure if it's worth our, they're basically saying Yahoo's going down the toilet. Don't know if it's worth picking up. But yeah, obviously they do. But it's interesting to see those things. And like, there's ones from Steve Jobs and where he's talking about like, what's our strategy for this year? And he tag 3 or 4 people. Can you just fill me in? Like, what's this month's plan? And there's like, really high up people at the time, like Tim Cook was like, I think we need to focus on this. maybe we should meet about that. But it's interesting to see what that internal thing is like. And when they're talking about acquiring YouTube, they're deciding in that email chain how much they should offer. And they're like, oh, we could throw 200 mil at it and see what happens. You know, it's such a huge, such a vast amount of money. But it's an interesting little Twitter account. Not all of them are gold. Some of them are really boring. It's like Bill Gates emails someone about an internal Word document. It's really dull. But some of them, like the ones that have come out from the Apple versus Epic stuff, are great. Yeah, because they're talking about like the CEO of Epic. And Apple don't really know them. And Tim Cook emails like, who is this guy? Have we ever met him? Yeah, simple as that. Like, who is he? And there's someone else says like, I think he came to a fundraiser event back in here. You know, they're all in the same circles at points. But it's just an interesting little account.
That actually sounds genuinely fascinating. Just to get an insight into how, I don't know, how normal stuff like that is to people.
If you know those, like, it reminds me of that What If book that you lent to me, or like I downloaded or whatever. Yeah. If you could collate them into the most interesting ones and chuck them into a book, that would be great. Because, you know, you could title it like Google decides whether to buy YouTube or not. Here's the email chain. Apple pulls the plug on this. Here's the email chain, or, you know.
Like historic events.
I
bet you there would be business people out there who would be falling over themselves to get to just look at how people think they're going to glean something from it. You know, thinking it's going to be, all right, well, how did they approach this? Maybe I should do the same thing.
Definitely.
Maybe I should do that.
And to jump off that, what's interesting to see how CEOs and stuff actually email, because you'd think they'd be like very high and mighty, but some of them are just like, what's this? Send. Yeah. You know, like really simple. Like there's no, you'd think it'd be like from the office of Mr. CEO.
From the desk of Tim Cook.
Yeah, but it's, but they're not. But yeah, an interesting one. That's my little rec. If you're into tech, it's a good little follow.
Yeah, fair enough. Dude, this is not as exciting at all, but I have I don't know, I'm almost in two minds as to whether to mention this or not to you, because it might be interesting or it might not, but it's a website that got recommended to me by a friend of mine. Yeah, who'd been using it for a while, and it's one of these things where I'll kind of, it's a Ben's semi-on rec, like
doesn't sound great.
Ben, I've got a semi for you, Tom. So, what?
I think I've just looked it up because I wanted to see what it was.
Oh, fine, yeah. It's called prolific.co. And it sounds, there's, you know, the way you could describe it is it sounds like something that gets advertised on a flyer stapled to a telegraph pole. You know, like a earn money from home for free, you know, kind of that kind of bollocks, you know. Yeah. But genuinely, I'm kind of into it. I think it has a little place maybe in my life. That place is generally when I'm on the toilet, or when I'm editing this podcast and I need to sort of sit and listen to it and not do much else. You know, that takes attention. So
what is it?
It's academic research. You sign up to get paid for taking part in academic research. Right. So you create an account. Obviously, it's all free. You know, there's nothing like that. You give them quite a bit of detail about yourself, but I guess as much as you want to give. Sure. So that people who are doing research know your demographic. That's the idea. You know, even down to like what kind of car do you drive, like what brand, you know, because people might want to be looking for,
I am
for
listening.
stuff like that.
I'm just looking at it at the same time.
Don't worry, mate. That's fine. I'm used to it. No, it's fine.
Oh, I know you're not listening.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. So you tell them who you are, and then you just sort of sit back and wait. And then it self-refreshes and gives you these studies that you can take part in. Right. And some of them are desperately uninteresting. Some of them are like, what do you think about relationships in the workplace? You know, what would you do in this situation? But some of them are quite interesting. Like I did one where I was judging the driving of a self-driving car. Oh, okay. But I think some people were told that it was a self-driving car and some people were told that it was a human, for example. So some of it genuinely is quite interesting academic research. And, you know, you might feel like you're doing a great service by taking part in these surveys. Some of them take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Some of them take like 90 minutes if you want to, you know, if you want to sign up for something like that. Yeah. But then you get paid for doing them. Ah. So now, don't get me wrong. I don't think this is something that you could do for a job.
Sure.
Even though they do, you know, when they tell you how much you're going to get paid for how much work, it's like it gives it to you as a £1 per hour figure as well. So, you know, you can see it's pretty high. You know, it's like 11, £12 per hour, some of them. But I don't think it's something you could do as a kind of, this is what I do for my money. Sure. But if you are waiting for a video to render for like half an hour, or depending on the tech you're using, you know, or if you're indisposed in the bathroom for a long time, or like I say, for me, like if when I'm editing the podcast, I'm sat there listening to the podcast and kind of not doing a lot else. You know, there's not really anything else to be doing. It's worth it. Maybe it's not for everyone, I guess, but it's maybe worth checking out. They don't have an app, which is kind of annoying.
Oh, that is annoying.
It's a bit weird, but you can create a shortcut on your phone easy enough. You know, and Android at least. I'm sure you can on iPhone as well.
Add to home screen sort of thing.
And what's weird is that when you do that, it's almost like it's kind of works like an app. Like it has its own little code that makes it appear outside of your browser. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a weird kind of thing where it's not an app, but it's also not in your browser technically as well. But
sure,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool that it adapts.
And there's you can do it on tablet. You know, there's some studies that say this has to be done on a tablet or a desktop. Yeah. This has to be done on a mobile phone or what have you.
Fair enough.
Mate, dude, my mate sold it to me on the idea that he'd put together about 80 quid over the course of about a week.
That's pretty good for like if you're not doing anything else.
Exactly, man. Yeah, for an idle. While we're driving around in the van for work, I can sit there and
click.
Idle click, exactly. Yeah, to give my opinion on faces or how trustworthy people look. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, mate. I tell you what. Whenever I'm sat here when the computer's rendering a video, I'm often like, oh yeah, I should do this while I can, but then I always forget. The second you hit render, all of the CPU and everything just goes straight to that video.
It's just eaten. Yeah.
So if you try and open Chrome, it's like, ooh, what's this? No, I mean, you can, but you hear the fan really kick up. It's like, okay, here we go. All systems go. Lift
here we
off.
are.
Thrusters at full capacity. That's what it's like.
Dude, it's when you have to start wearing the ice vest because of the heat in the room as well. You know, just right time to strip down.
Mate, this really is an aside because we're talking about that. I obviously recently rebuilt my PC into a small case. And it's great. But when I render a video now, it's so stupid. I had all those problems we talked about before about getting the cooler on properly.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't think the connection's great because whenever I edit a video or if I do something high intensity like play a game or it's usually rendering video, I have to take the side panel off just so enough air gets in. Otherwise, it's not on the first or second render, but usually when I render a video, there's probably about I render it, watch it through, look for mistakes, and then there's usually at least one, and then correct that mistake, and then I'll render it again, realise there's another mistake. So if I render something like 3 times in a row, it's like, hey, I've had enough. It needs to side off. Yeah. Which is kind of frustrating, but the thing is, because it's all magnetic, it's so easy to just snap the side off. It literally just comes off. It's like, takes a second. But it's kind of frustrating, but it's kind of worth the trade-off because it looks so nice. But it's such a classic. Like it looks good, it doesn't quite work how it should.
Yeah, sure. But, oh man, who cares, man? Form should follow function, but no one worries about that,
mate. To push on from there as well. I think I'm done. I said this a while ago, but that when Apple have got a couple of events left this year, and if they put out a new kind of Mac with this Mac silicon that's just the top shit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think I might be done with PC. I might just sell all the bits and just go all in on Mac.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, because I don't play games anymore, and that is the main draw of a PC. Like I play games, but on console. Yeah. And like I know PC gamers will probably cry and explode at the sound of that, but playing games on PC is great, and I do and have really enjoyed it. But at this point in my life, it's a sit on the sofa, controller in hand sort of jobby. I've got the PS5. That's more power probably than my PC. So
yeah, sure. No, it makes sense, man. It does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can't stop thinking about like those greenhouse windows you get that automatically open when it gets hot.
Oh yeah,
Get one of those. Just get one of those.
Was this in the gravel catalogue?
It was, well, yeah, it was mate, I'm not doing myself any favours, am I? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Like, when did this start?
Man, I don't know. Gravel catalogue. What greenhouse is the best?
Oh man, well, I haven't got a greenhouse. All right, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, that's it.
Fancy a greenhouse. Dude, I couldn't get into my shed today because the lock broke shut.
Oh.
So I had to get the old Dremel on it. I had to cut through my lock on my shed, which was disappointingly easy to do, actually.
Oh, so surprisingly easy.
Yeah, I just go you know when people break an apple in half with their bare hands. It was a bit like that.
Love it. Is there anything of value in your shed that really requires a lot?
I can neither confirm nor deny what's
fair enough.
Man, tools and a couple of bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know where I live, podcast listeners. You don't know. But no, nothing like no diamonds or anything like that. But yeah, just some tools and bikes and things like that, you know. And it's more like a deterrent, isn't it? It's more It's more sort of saying, I've got like an automatic light over it as well, because the shed's at the front of the house.
Yeah, man, the automatic light is enough to deter.
Yeah, you'd hope so. It deterred the Just Eat driver who got the wrong address the other day.
Oh no, you're fine. Come in.
It's okay. Oh man, dude. So not to take a sharp left turn here with what we're talking about, but one of the comeuppances of me having to isolate today because that stupid PCR test is that I couldn't go to the cinema this evening. Which is also why we're recording this evening, I guess. But it means I couldn't go and see Shang Chi. We decided it was Shang Chi, wasn't it?
Shang Chi.
Shang Chi. Okay.
Ooh.
I'll let you decide whether you're going to do the accent or not, mate. But
yeah, I won't. I'll probably unlock more issues than it solves.
Yeah, but just I'm gutted, man. I'm gutted. I mean, without having both of us seen it, do you have many thoughts about this?
Yeah, man. I thought Shang-Chi was great. I really did, really enjoy it. And there's it's the best Marvel film I've seen since Endgame. That's what I'll definitely say. It was really fantastic.
Wow.
And it's like, I think I saw someone online say it's a Hong Kong film with like a Hollywood budget. So it's like, imagine all your Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all that sort of stuff. And
sure.
The scene that really showed it is that all the fight scenes are like uncut. It's like one.
Really?
I mean, they obviously cut between it. They're not going for that one shot sort of thing. But you see all the action. There's no cuts between punches like you normally see. It's all done so well. And there's a scene, which you've probably seen a trailer for. There's a scene on a bus where he has like a fight on a bus. Yeah. And it's incredible. It's the best action I've ever seen in Marvel. It's so good.
Really?
And it's like, they do so many like nice little nods to those films, because like on that bus scene he's getting attacked from all sides, but he uses his coat as a weapon, so he takes his coat on off,
sure,
which is like the old Karate Kid thing. And you know, it's great. The combat, it's fantastic. The villain as well is really good. Like, it's not a classic I'm a big bad. It's like, wow, yeah, fair enough, I relate to him. I can see why he's doing what he's doing.
Does it manage to avoid, like, because a lot of the Marvel sort of first early origin films all kind of fell into the trap of having basically the same story. Like, you know, I'll gain my power and then I'll fight a different version of myself, and then that's it, you know. Or have they kind of learned from that?
I guess it does fall into that trap towards the end, I would say, but it's it's a good, like, you could class it as standalone. If you take out the post-credit scenes, like, that film would stand up as a single entity film, which is nice. Yeah. There's obviously loads of nods and Easter eggs in it, and the ending credits really do tie it into the MCU.
Oh, sure, but, cool, yeah.
The rings, or the bangles, are such a cool weapon. Like, you'd think they're relatively basic, and it's just power rings that he flies off at people, but the range of moves it allows, because they combine it obviously with the kung fu stuff. Yeah, and it's just incredible. Some of the moves they put off with them, like, wow, I would have never thought of that, and it's just so awesome. It's a really good film. It's really
because
good.
it's very different from the source material of like the comic book Mandarin with the rings that you wear on your fingers.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly because the Mandarin is an incredibly racist looking character, so I'm not surprised they kind of went right. We're just going to move away from that at the first opportunity we get.
In a typical Marvel sense, it's funny as well. There's loads of funny little moments in it that are just, so it may be overbearing at some points, but it doesn't forget that you can't. If someone said this is an MCU film, you'd know straight away. You'd be like, oh yeah, of course it is. But if you had never seen an MCU film, you wouldn't be like, oh, there's lots of weird stuff going on I don't understand. It's all very self-contained. But yeah, man, it's great. If you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's kind of on those sorts of levels and places.
Okay,
it's great.
Sort of that semi-supernatural martial arts kind of thing.
Yeah, my only like rebuttal of it towards the end, in the classic Marvel, the big end fight of whatever they're going through is. It's so far removed from the start where they're almost like street fights,
Cool.
It's almost too far into crazy town. Yeah, whereas the first ones are so grounded and they feel so real and like incredible.
Is it fair to say that this is what Iron Fist should have been?
Oh yeah,
because I've seen the comparisons up, of like the issues that Iron Fist had as a series.
Yeah,
and it does look infinitely better.
Oh yeah, it's just the talent of the stunt crew, and I think the guy that plays Shang Chi is
he's a martial. I'm sure I don't know.
He's a martial art. He must be from what I saw, unless it's really good stunt doubles. He obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah, sure. Do you think? I mean, I'm excited at the moment that we seem to be drawing more from cinema from around the world, particularly Asian cinema.
Yeah, that's what it needed.
I mean, some are just even the direction style, but just not just for Marvel movies, but for films in general. The direction seems to occasionally just be very nicely paced. A little bit slower paced, more telling stories. I'm telling stories in different ways, isn't it? Without sounding pretentious. Yeah, it's not constant bang, 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 bang. Right now, quick, we've got to get here. What are we going to do? We've got to get out of here before it's too late. Yeah. It's more of a thoughtful sort of
man. It's definitely
direction.
In that film, there's lots of like quieter moments and stuff where, they just explore who they are and stuff. It was really good. I can only recommend it. Like I say, I thought it was better than Black Widow. It's very different. Yeah. It's very different though. Better than a lot of Marvel films that came before it. Like I would put it up there in, I'd almost, I'd say it's up there with the Avengers films. It was just great. I'd really say go and see it if you can, because it's awesome.
I'm stoked. I mean, just as a slight aside, because I know we might not be prepared for this, but have you been watching any of the What If series?
No, I haven't. It's like all queued up. We just haven't made the time to sit down and watch it. I won't go too far into it, but if anyone hasn't watched it, it's worth a look. Yeah. The ideas that it touches on are kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. The pacing of each episode is very quick. Especially the first one. It's really noticeable in the first episode. Don't let that put you off, I guess. How long is each episode?
It's about half an hour each one.
Oh, wow, so it's not long.
Not really too long, no, but it's proper, like zip, zip, zip. It moves. I think it assumes a lot of knowledge of, how the story went the first time round, sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm looking forward to it all starting to tie together, though, because apparently all the different stories do. Like there's a wider story that isn't revealed at first.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. But yeah,
I'd like to watch it.
Man, you're allowed.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You have my permission.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I think because the reception, like you said, has been kind of not lukewarm, but like, no one seems to. If I said I hadn't seen it, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, you need to go watch it."
No, and I'm not. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
I think that's been why I haven't really rushed to go and watch it.
I feel kind of like that about Marvel material at the moment, anyway. To be honest, like it's for me, it's set from a few years ago when it would have been, oh wow, like I'm really looking, like I can't wait to see what happens in the next film. It's going to be spectacular and amazing, and it's I really can't wait. Now I'm just settling into a quiet appreciation and expecting stuff to be okay, I suppose.
Dude, me and a few of us were talking the other day about how like kids that are like growing up now won't see Endgame maybe until they're like 15 years old. So, will they see that as like kind of like a classic era where like, okay, so the first lot of Marvel stuff ended at Endgame, and we consider that the classic, and then it's like, and here's the middle stuff with Shang Chi and all that sort of thing, and then their stuff they're growing up with is like the third whatever, you know.
Yeah, man, it could well
and they're
be.
like, oh, I grew up with those ones, but my dad watched Endgame at the cinema.
Yeah. Christ,
as a scary thought.
They will be making, I mean, we've never had anything like this. I mean, maybe James Bond, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe James Bond.
But, I mean, comic books have never stopped. I mean, they've waxed and waned, you know, they've become more popular, they've become less popular over different eras, but they've never stopped. You know, they've always come back, with
There's
the
still
same
new Superman
characters
coming out.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So these films, I'm going to die, and they will still be making these films.
Yeah,
you know, with the same. The thing is, with the same characters, like there will be a reason why they've been rebooted, or it'll be a new version of an old character.
The multiverse just allows that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's just like we're just going to reboot Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. and it's not attached to anything else. It's like a free license to kind of do what you want.
And to do standalone films, like one-offs.
Yeah, exactly.
Where, this is a weird universe where this happened, so here, have at it, here's one film. But dude, it's going to be weird. I mean, we've never had anything like that before.
No, not scary to think about, but a huge... I remember I was probably most excited ever to see Endgame at the cinema because I just generally didn't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember that as like, probably as my parents would remember going to see Star Wars or something like that was the big cinema event.
Yeah. Isn't that mad, man? Isn't that crazy?
Mental.
How much it's come on? Yeah. Anyway, that's or maybe our kids are going to be going, nah, Dad, I hate it. It's old.
I hate it.
It's old and shit.
It's in black and white. It's like us saying it's in black and white. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll be like, oh, this one doesn't have haptic feedback. Do I really have to watch it? You know, I don't feel like it's not total immersion. So why
can't I select a hero and see it through their eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to play as Thanos. I want to play as someone else.
Dude. Speaking of different experiences moving on through time, do you want to talk about anything that would be described as a true next gen experience?
I will briefly because I felt a lot more strongly about it the other week when I put it on the list.
You know what? I sense that. I really did.
So I played through the first PS5 exclusive Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which was absolutely fantastic. That's kind of what I wanted to say about it, really. It was, I wrote it was a true next-gen experience, and it really was. Like, the graphics on it were just absolutely incredible. It's a kid's game really at its core, but it's like playing a Pixar film. And I'm sure people have said that about previous ones on PS4, but on PS5 it really did look stunning.
Yeah.
The action scenes... like I said, it delivered on that next-gen promise because the loading times were basically non-existent. You turn on the PS5, one button, you're in. You'd go to a different planet. You're there.
You're done.
You'd fly through all these different dimensions. I think that's all. That's all part of it. And the level's just loading like that. It's very cool. And a really fun little game. I've never played a Ratchet and Clank, so I'm kind of totally new to the series. It's been going since PS2.
Wow.
And man, I'm sold on it. If they do another one, I'll get it. I was going to trade it in because I paid the full £60 for it.
Ooh. But, it better be good, mate. Is that some kind of like buyer's remorse? So it's like, it was really great. Trust me, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, mate. most PS5 games are like £70 at release, so I got it for a cheap 60. But I thought, I'll get rid of it, so I'll get a decent amount back. But I think I'm going to keep it and play through it again because it was such a laugh.
Sure, yeah.
Mate, it's nice to play a game because I've played so many games recently that are like hardball games, like difficult, make you think. Demon's Souls is a good example, that sort of thing. And it was nice to play a game where there was some challenge, but not, nothing that felt undoable, die on a boss, fine. Oh, I know what to do now sort of thing. And it was just fun. The story was fun. The characters were a laugh. It was like watching, it's like watching Shrek. Just a nice, comfortable, funny, good story, cool characters, and just a laugh. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed my 10 hours or so, however long it took.
See, I could take that as a recommendation, mate. Yeah, that's not bad shout.
It was great. It was like I say, mate, it's just nice to have a game where you can just kind of relax and play. It's like playing Super Mario, just fun.
I hear
just
you.
a fun game.
Sure. Isn't it funny, man, how rare that is now? How
It's
rare
really
it is
rare.
to play a game. Because it's, we describe games nowadays with like immersive, gritty, action-packed. It's like, man, and normally when people sell, when people sell a game on being fun, it's because it's wacky or crazy.
Kooky.
What's so much fun to play? It's like, can't a game just be regular fun? Like, I just
Super
sit
Mario
down for
fun.
half an hour. Just to switch off, and I'll just play this for a while, thanks.
Mate, on that note, Super Mario Odyssey, I don't know if you've played that on Switch, but that really is the epitome of fun. You don't have to think about it. It's just, there's always new things to do, new places to go, new moves to unlock. It's just a good, fun game.
We should start a list.
We should.
These are the fun ones. These are the
games
fun
that
ones.
are fun. Like, you can, like I say, sit down for 15 minutes if that's all you got, and you get somewhere.
Dude, we are
games.
100% not on the list to talk about this. But did you, just between me and you, did you download Clusterduck?
No, I looked at it in the App Store and thought it's not for me.
I've deleted it. There's this stupid game that my brother put me onto, and he knows what he did. He listens to this. He knows what he did. It's such a weird game, man. I mean, I would encourage everyone to try it, like just for one. I'm not going to sell it to you, really, in what I'm going to say, but it's just a collecting game, like a duck breeding game, and you're the aim of it, but they're weird and wonderful ducks. Like they get really messed up, like really odd, crazy, wacky, fun ducks.
Messed up.
And then sometimes you have to throw ducks down the duck hole, and then a duck monster pops out, and then a legendary duck egg pops out with some kind of weird long-necked duck in it.
And then all it is 69p to unlock the new level.
Yeah, no, dude, it is. It's like you unlock the breed. Of course, man, you've got to spend the 89p to download the magic lamp. So you put the ducks in the magic lamp so that they can't breed in the magic lamp, and then you only take out the ducks you want to breed to try and find like the third piece, so you can breed purebred ducks. So you get like the all firefighter ducks, or the all made out of jelly ducks, or whatever it is, And then once you've collected a whole set, by pure random chance, then you get to tick another little tick in your collector's manual.
Ideal. And if you just use the code Ben10,
you can
get 10% off.
Yeah,
your next up.
Oh Christ! I mercifully couldn't play it for like a day or two. I think something happened where I couldn't play it, and that broke the spell. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, seriously, what the actual fuck have I been playing for the last week? Dude, because it's one of those games where I'm in trouble with it, because it's very addictive. And I don't know why. I can't even spot why it's addictive. But, oh Christ, man, it was... Yeah, I mean, if that sounds like the kind of game you'd be into, then download Clusterduck. It's
dreadful.
It's dreadful. Or even just take a look at it. It came out. To be fair to them, to be fair to the developers, it came out of a game jam. So I think it was never supposed to be like an A1 idea for them.
Sure.
But they kind of went, there's something in this, and away you go.
Fair enough.
But Tom, there might be one other game that we wanted to mention.
Oh.
That falls into the category of hard and difficult and fun. Question mark?
Ooh, it can be. I'd say it can be fun. It is fun. It's a good game.
So you put me onto this,
yes.
And the game's Hades.
Yeah.
And it's been around for a while.
It has been around for a while, and the reason I got onto it was not that I'm trying to sound like a salesman, but the magic of Xbox Game Pass is that it's just saying it's coming to Game Pass. I was like, I've heard good things about it because it won loads of awards.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll have that for free. Thank you very much. Well, I'll have that for the $10.99 a month, whatever I pay for Game Pass.
It's never free, mate. It's never free.
No. And man, it's definitely worth the subscription cost because it's so awesome.
Yeah. You look like an excited little 8-year-old then.
Yeah, it is.
Like such a little smile on your face.
It is so good. Just if people don't know what it is, it's a roguelike, which means when you die, you start again. Pretty much, that's the definition of roguelike now. But every time you start again, you unlock more story, more bits and bobs, and it's just a good laugh. You basically the premise is you're the son of Hades, and you want to escape from the underworld by going through 5 different levels of hell, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty much 4 or 5 or something.
See, I find like that works really well with the roguelike paradigm, the setup, the way that you, like you say, you die and you repeat, you rinse, repeat, die, repeat, with the idea that you just learn it a bit more every time you play. Because every time you die, you just wake up back in the River of Styx, reappearing in the underworld back at the start. And
he's always got a small comment of what he died from or something. When he does, he's like, damn, it's a damn Hydra. It's always the Hydra, man. That bloody Hydra. But all the voice acting on it is incredible. So like, you really believe them when they say those sorts of things. And I guess it's a good metaphor for hell as well, because the torture is you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
Sure, yeah.
So I guess it kind of works in that way. But it's fun to play. It's made by the people that made Bastion and Transistor. If you played those games, they're highly regarded as well. But it's like a isometric sort of top-down fighter. Like
a chamber by chamber, isn't it? Kind of
chamber by chamber.
Yeah.
You fight loads of goons, hellish goons, with a selection of weapons which you pick at the start. And like I say, it's just a good laugh to play. It's fun. The combat feels great. I think that's what makes it.
It controls really well. I mean, for a game like that where you are getting frustrated and inevitably button mashing, because it's hard. We should point out it's difficult. It's a difficult game. You need the controls to work properly, so that you're never left dying and going, I was pressing it, I was trying to, I was pressing this and it should have happened.
When you die, it's definitely your own fault.
I mean, it is so firmly in my wheelhouse, man. I mean, of my interests, because it's all Greek mythology, which I've got a massive boner for anyway. And it's a hard roguelike, man. And like, because I told you about my obsession with Binding of Isaac a while back.
You did, yeah.
That was bordering on the unhealthy, but I cracked it. I cracked it. It's tickling that same spot, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And it does, dude, the way the story develops, like you say, it's nice that not only is it that repetitive, almost addictive kind of, I won't die this time, I'll just play one more go. I'll get a bit further this time. But every time, like you say, there's more story that unlocks. And there are subplots which don't, they're not side quests, so they don't sort of take you away from the gameplay. But there are subplots that just enrich it, I guess, enhance it a bit.
And like we said, sometimes dying is worth it, because every new character in the House of Hades, which is kind of like your hub zone, they've all got something new to say, or they've got something new to give you, or they're like, I heard this rumor, like maybe you should check that out, or the dog has broken into the kitchen and made a mess, and like that sort of thing. It's just like cool little things like that. You feel like he actually does live there, and these are like his mates, because even his dad's like, you're welcome to try again, but you'll never get out of here, sort of thing. He doesn't care. He's like, give it another go.
So passive aggressive as well. It's like, massively. Back already.
When you die quite quick, back already, are we? Like, great.
You'll never escape.
Yeah.
Dude, it's man. I'm really, really into it. I mean,
what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on PC.
Oh, cool.
So it's on Steam. I think it's only about 20 quid. I mean, I know you got it on Game Pass, but it's not an expensive game. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a good hour per, pounds per hour expense, good value for money game, geez, 20 quid for hours. And because I know I don't want to mention too much of this on the podcast, just because it would spoil it if someone's into it and wants to play it.
Sure.
But after you've done, because I've finished it once, I've managed to do one run where I got to the end and finished it. It doesn't. It introduces extra gameplay mechanics after you've done one run. So it adds a lot of customization to stuff, and I won't say more, but cool. It doesn't really spoil it, but it does a lot to encourage you, and storyline wise, it makes sense that you then want to keep trying to complete it again and again and again. It makes logical sense in the world,
Yeah. And like the other little cool thing is like the Greek pantheon of gods will kind of help you out.
Yeah,
depending on what you get, and they've always got something new to say to you. Like,
and some of them are such they're such chads as well. Like Broside,
yeah, they are.
Like, hey there, man.
Yeah, massively. I do like when the God of War talks to you. He's like, you're doing a great job of killing all these people. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
They're
dude.
Fun.
That it is. It's really good, man. And they're just arrogant enough. It's not. It's so nuanced. Like you say, the voice acting is amazing, but the whole thing is so nuanced. It's really immersive.
Mate, I watched a little behind the scenes sort of thing. The guy that voices Zagreus also voices Skelly.
Is that right?
They couldn't be more different.
Way.
Yeah. It's
That's
funny.
so. Oh, mate, might have to dig that out. I'd like to watch that.
Yeah, mate. Someone else said this, and I'm just repeating a quote, but someone said that all the voice acting is done by people who sound like they're beautiful, like that. These are good-looking people that are doing the voice acting. You can just tell.
Yeah. Oh, mate, 100%. Yeah,
definitely. But no, it's great.
I want to throw something in just in case. I mean, I don't know. We don't have that much persuasive power to the people that listen to this. If you do pick it up on PC, don't be a mug like I was and start playing with keyboard and mouse.
Oh no, I can't imagine it's good on there.
I don't know why. It's because for me it wasn't obvious how you activate the controller in it.
Sure.
Because you have to. There's no option to switch to controller controls.
Right.
You have to just start pushing buttons on the controller and it switches. So I don't know, man. Is that a design flaw? Or is that my own stupidity?
I don't know.
Probably stupidity.
Like I say,
right?
rarely play on PC. Mate, the other thing I was saying about, because it's on the newer Xboxes, it's Series SX enabled, so it's like there's no load on that. And it's a simple game anyway. You know, it's not like a big loader, but I can turn the Xbox on and be in it within like 5 seconds.
Oh wow!
Like good to go, which just helps into the one more go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
got 20 minutes. I'll give it a bash. See where I get to.
Oh man, dude, I'm grateful for you mentioning it and recommending it. It's going to be a good time killer.
Yeah, man, I really want to get through to it. I really want to get through it now. I might play some after this, actually.
You never know. I would, but I think I've played it enough today, and I'll get told off by I'll get told off by Claire if I play it too much.
No more Hades.
Well, hey mate, I've got a whole week of fucking nothing to do thanks to COVID regulations. So who knows, mate? I might have thumbs like little walnuts by the end of it.
That's a horrible image.
Oh man, but dude, I think that's the show. I think that's this episode.
Us. Thanks for sticking with us on a unstructured, more of a chatty show. That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I get into it. Chat good.
Structure bad.
Yeah. Tom, if people have got this far and they think, hey, that Tom guy, he sounds all right, where can they find you online?
It's at Bite Review everywhere, but where can they find Ben?
They could look on benjuonlung.com, and I'm sure they find me through there. If you want, you can leave us a review of this very podcast in app. It's easy.
Yeah.
Here's how.
2 taps away.
And you know what?
No, go on.
No, I was going to say, I was going to hate myself for saying it. I was going to say, it really does help. Like, if you leave us a review, it really does. But help what, Tom? Help what?
Well, if you give us 1 star, that won't help. So don't do that.
Oh, man.
Give us at least 2. Come on.
Probably worth 5 at least. And also, you can send us messages. I always forget to mention this. If you go to ITSBUP.com, then you'll find it through there.
ITSBUP.
But mate, that's it. I'll let you get back to slaying the Hydra.
Yeah, I'll be busy escaping. Is it First Throne? I can't remember what it's called.
But Tom, there is no escape.
No, remember that.
All right, see you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Cool.